Okay, no problem. This is one of the most basic template that we're looking at right now, a cuboid. Template is also very similar to a cube template. So this is one of a cube. We'll also understand how to do a cuboid one. You can have variations in a cuboid depending on whether the side and the height is different or whether the side and the height is the same. Done with this, let's start cutting. Okay.
Slideshow.
Slideshow for what?
For PPT.
It is slides, like no, but I have to show them my camera as well. That's why I'm not doing.
हाँ तो कैसे क्या आपका प्लान है कैसे बात करेंगे आप
The initial cutting would look like something like this. Next up, you have to do is clean up the corners of the flaps that you've made so that you can start folding it. Okay. Next step, please look carefully after you're done with the final template of yours. After cutting all the edges, all the sides, you should have this shape. Now, to fold this perfectly, there is one thing that you can do. All the lines that you made, take a cutter or take any slightly sharp object, take the back part of that, don't take the front, and trace over these lines using a scale or something. Trace over these lines before you start folding it so that it's easier to fold. Right now, it will be folding like a curve. So we don't want it to fold like a curve. We want it to fold straight. So now it should be folding more like lines, right? This is happening? Yeah. Okay, Kanak. Yeah. So now next up, all we're gonna do is take the shape and fold it. So whichever side you're gonna fold it, just take that flap inwards like this. This flap I've taken inward, and then I'm going to paste it inside like this. So it's almost like making a house with walls. So you have a base or a floor, and you have walls and a top. So it should close like that. So one by one, paste all the sides together. One more thing you want to be careful when you're giving NIFT situation test is that they prefer to see clean models. They like to see that you're not making like dirty models. So be very sure of the Fevicol marks that you leave on your paper model. So you're not leaving them. Be sure of that. So make sure you're not leaving any marks. Make sure you don't have any visible tape. Also, it's not allowed to use tape in the exam. So make sure you're not carrying one with you. You can take Fevicol, you can take scissor, cutter, and even to make circles, you can take a compass, but that is pretty much it when it comes to stationery. You shouldn't be taking any material which is not allowed because that will lead to you getting disqualified right away. It's okay if it is taking time, take your time, paste the shape properly. Pasting each and every side takes a little time, so press it together, hold it there, and then move on to the next side.
Ma'am,
You done?
I'm afraid I don't have any glue around me at the present moment.
Oh, okay. You don't have any glue right now, but you made the template, no?
No. Yes, ma'am, I made it.
No problem. You make the next template also, and then you can all like glue it all together. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
At once,
Thank
later
you.
on after the session. No problem.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. You done?
Done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anybody else done with it? Is it difficult, guys? Are you finding it difficult? Yeah. Okay, Priyanka, you got it almost there, but yeah, you. It's okay. It's okay. You finish it and you show it to me in next session. So like one more thing I would like to say to you guys is like if you think that you're not crafty enough and everything, please stop feeling that at this moment only, because situation test is not about your craft skills, it's just about how you can use the material given to you in the best possible manner. Okay, so we will learn techniques as we go ahead. So right now, being like amazing 3D model maker is not your focus. Your focus is on basically how to use some skills which you can utilize to manipulate the material provided to you. Okay, so this is finally that will come out. So if you made a small one, it will look like this. If you made a big one, then it will look bigger. So next one. So you can make this in color paper. Then that thing that I showed you when we were starting, make it with color paper. You can stack them together. You can make objects with them. I'll show you certain examples of how these shapes have been utilized by some of our students to make their models. So that would be the end of the session. We do that. Let's go to the next shape now. Everybody's done? I see Shruti working on it. All right, just finish quickly. Let's go to the next shape. Now, let me explain the logic of this particular shape while we are waiting for the next one. So when you look at your screen right now, you'll be able to see this particular shape that we just drew with a different flap. So now the flap is over here. The one that we made was with this particular flap.
Yeah, the price is also weekend, so there is a.
So understanding a flap is in such a manner that it is not necessary that the flaps or even the structure of that particular model that you made is possible in only one manner. So for cube and cuboid, it's only one possible manner that you're looking at, but you can extend it anywhere. This particular part, you could have extended it here also. This particular part could be extended here also. It's not necessary to have one particular side only, because all of the sides in cube are equal. But when it comes to cuboid or it comes to other shapes where you see the dissimilarity, Shruti, you done?
Ma'am, I'm done, but the sticking part is, I guess, hard. It's not sticking together.
So yeah, in bigger shapes it takes a little time. So what you do is like each and every part when you're doing the starting, no, make sure those are stuck well. Then you'll be able to. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Also, what paper are you using? Is it thin or thick?
Well, it's normal A4 size colored paper.
Color
Like it's
paper,
not
I think
so thick. It's not so thick and thin. Like it's medium.
these shapes come out better when you're using a little thicker paper like ivory sheet or something. Okay.
Okay,
But
ma'am.
yeah, this is fine. Next time you just make sure to press them together every time you're doing a fold.
Okay.
So next up, we are looking at this particular shape. As I was saying, there are multiple ways to make templates. There is no one set way to make a template. Next template that we're looking at is a cuboid. So understanding a cuboid is much simpler again if you understand cube. If you do not understand cube, then it becomes difficult. So there in a cube, we had a base that we were using. So here the base is this, where I'm pointing. And this is wall number 1, this is wall number 2, this is wall number 3, and this is wall number 4. Now, when you're looking at a rectangle, for example, so just let me make a sketch. When you're looking at this shape, you're looking at one dimension is this, the breadth. One dimension is this, the length. And there is another dimension that is added, which is height of this thing, which is this depth that you're talking about. So when you're looking at this, there are three angles, X, Y, Z again. But here, it's not the same like the last one. It's different. So the base is going to be the same as your top. This side is going to be same size as this side, and this side is going to be the same size as this side. These are the basic common things that you can observe from this shape. So here, starting from the base, this is a different size, and these sides are different size, and these sides have a different size. That is why you're looking at this kind of a different arrangement in this. Do you understand this? Do you? Okay. So when making cuboids, we are going to make sure that either whether our height is the same as the breadth. If our height is same as the breadth, then this particular rectangle would look same as this particular rectangle. If they are not same, then they will be varied. Is that part clear? Okay. So next up, we're going to make a rectangle base, and then we're going to start with, or actually let's not make it, this is homework. Okay, let's work on a cuboid at, like, you can make it with the same height like this one I've made. This one has the same height as it has breadth. So I have a square face here, but here you see a rectangle face because it doesn't have that sameness. Does that make sense? So what you'll be doing if you want this kind of a cuboidal shape, all you need to do is you have to take the same length. So one length would be there, that would be one measurement, and you will make. So for example, let's say 8 centimeter, 6 centimeters. This is 3 centimeters. So this is the size of my base, 6 centimeter and 3 centimeter. So 3 centimeter breadth and 6 centimeter for my length. Now I'm going to add in my wall. So wall has one height also. So I've added two walls on either side of the base. Now, if this particular side is also equal, which is XYZ angle that we were talking about. So if this was the initial diagram that I was looking at, 10 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 3 centimeters. If this side is 6, this side is 3, and this is also 3, then what we're looking at right now is going to be a square face on this side. If this is 4 and this is 3, then it won't be square, this will be rectangle on this side. This is what I'm trying to explain. Cool. So right now when I'm making this template, I'm going to take the same size. So now when I make this, it is going to be 3 centimeters here. So all of these are 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, all of these. So equal it should be. So this is how your template starts. Then you're going to make two sides which are on the side, because we discussed in this particular rectangle that I just showed you, we are looking at equal sides. So this is the wall number 3, this is the wall number 4. So when making these wall number 3 and 4, I'll just make two squares of 3 by 3 centimeters. Same flat ideas also. So 3 centimeter by 3 centimeter, you have two squares coming on the side. And next thing that you need over here is the top. So I have already 5 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 balls I'm done with. The only thing that is left is the top, which is missing. If I'm not going to make that top, then my cube would be empty on top and I can put things in it. It could be like packaging or anything. So just by adding one more rectangle on either side, we have finished this particular template. And by this, we can make a cuboid, a perfect cuboid, which will have the side or the breadth equal to the height. Okay. And the one that you're seeing on the screen right now is an example of how you can make this particular one with different dimensions. Just give me a second. Yeah. So let's do the second type of. Now we are looking at this. We're going to try and make this particular one, the very first image that you can see in the starting, tetrahedron. What it means is 4 heads or 4 faces, tetrahedron. Okay, so what it means is that it has 4 faces of the same size or like the same type. So we are looking at a triangular faced pyramid in a way. Okay, so basically you're talking about a base which is triangular, you're talking about 3 sides which are also triangular. So this should be the shape that you're approaching. This is the kind of shape we'll be having. So in this tetrahedron, obviously one side is not showing because like only 3 sides could be seen from one side. So when you're looking at this, actually only 2 sides would be seen. One would be base and then one would be on the other side. So when you're looking at this, basically you have 4 triangles set and you are trying to make this. So the template for this is super easy. There are 2 ways to make this template also, not one set way. It will also depend on how much you want your triangles to be, like whether you want them longer, whether you want them shorter. Depending on that, your template would change. But basic template design for this is you have to make a huge triangle. So as big as you want the shape, you have to think of half of that. So if you want, for example, if you want a 5 centimeter long shape, like this kind of a shape is what we're going to make. You see this? Can you see this? So all the sides are triangular. If you look at this, no matter how I turn it, every side that I turn to is a triangle. This is the shape. So to make this, what you need to do is take another sheet of paper, blank sheet of paper. If you want to make a 10 centimeter long triangle, then you will take one side of this big triangle that I'm making as 20 centimeters. If you want to make a if you want to make a tetrahedron which is 5 centimeter long, then you are going to make a 10 centimeter long sided equilateral triangle. So start with an equilateral triangle of double the size of the side you want in your tetrahedron model. So I'm going to make a 5 centimeter one. So I'm going to take 10 centimeter as my side. After you're done with that, this should look like a simple triangle, right? In this simple triangle, all you need to do is divide each side at the midpoint and join the midpoints. Make sure to keep your triangles straight, make sure they're equal. Next up, after joining the midpoints, you should be able to see a sketch like this. Done? Okay, simply 10 centimeter of one side, equilateral triangle we've made. In the equilateral triangle, we've divided it 5 centimeter, 5 centimeter, 5 centimeter. And on those lines, I've made another triangle. Now in total, you have 4 triangles that you can be looking at. Correct? So just make till here. This is it. This is the template. Just a second. After having made this template, it was this simple. You don't need to do anything else in this particular one, apart from the flaps. So making the flaps also is quite simple compared to the other ones that we've done. Make a flap here, then leave one side. Make a flap here, then leave one side. Make a flap here, then leave one side. So basically, you're making flaps on alternate sides. So leave one and then make a flap. So you should have 3 flaps.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Is there something like the bigger your flaps are, the better it will be, or something?
No. Flaps
Right.
are just to make sure that your model sticks. That's like we are just putting these flaps inside. So if you feel like your model is really tiny, make thin flaps, small flaps. If you think your model is huge, then make bigger flaps according to the proportion.
Okay. Thank you.
So finally, this should be how it should be looking. Yeah, correct. Done. Cool. Anybody else who wants to show who's done? Priyanka's done? Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Now let's go to the next step of this exercise. Next step is just cut it out, just like we did for the rest of them. So, cutting it out. I have a bigger one I've cut out already. This one that I drew. Made a bigger one. So I'll just hold this one. And the smaller one. So let's quickly cut them. We'll do the same folding technique that we did. He'll come back. Okay, I'm just glad I'm connected. So this is what you should be able to get after you've done the folding and everything. So the folding technique that you've done. So you should be able to fold everything much more easily. If you fold this together also without the Fevicol also, you can see the shape coming through. So you can check whether your shape is correct or not before starting to paste it. Okay, so do make sure that the edges are coming together. Kanak, nice, well done. Looks nice also. It's actually a little hard to get perfect tetrahedrons. Something is up with the electricity. But yeah, this was one of the last ones that I was going to discuss with you. After that, I'm going to discuss one more template before we leave for this session.
No, I did bachelor.
Let me check if the electricity comes back.
Ma'am.
Tell me. Oh, you're done. That's so cute and tiny.
Yes.
Nice.
You.
Okay, done. Well done. Well done.
I met
Premka
you
will
there.
show me both of them later. Amrisha, yeah. Well done.
Ma'am.
Yes.
I'm also done.
I saw yours, Shruti. It's nice and cute.
But my one sided ना, like
Show me.
this side is थोड़ा सा बड़ा. पता नहीं वो कैसे हो गया.
I
One
think it's
corner of
only like when you were taking measurements, no? So one more thing that you can do is when you're making these triangles, this thing you could do. When I make lines like this, then I make sure that my triangle is straight. So if you are able to do this, then it will make your model better. Okay. So you can do that and make sure that the triangles are in line with each other. That usually happens when the top triangle is not in line with the lower triangle.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what I want you to do or experiment with is this particular tetrahedron shape that we just talked about. This could be made a little more interesting if you were to cut out the head of this shape. So, do I have that? Just a second. Yes. So, for example, when I do not have the tetrahedron complete, look at this. Looks much better. Looks more interesting a shape, doesn't it? But it requires even less paper than the one that we just did. To be able to achieve this kind of effect, all you need to do is the tetrahedron shape that you had. In that, you have to, okay, let's take example of this one, much better. So in this one, take the midpoint of this side, take the midpoint of this side. All triangles take the midpoint of which are on the outside. After taking the midpoints of all of these, what we need to do is cut two sides. So after cutting two sides, I'll be left with one side. That one side is going to be folded over. So let me just show you.
Obviously, we have to somebody joining a customer and all, we have to see the
Bring it.
program, there are dates provided. And that is basics. Again, depending on the basic, because many people they are doing a job and all, they down is optional for them to get a basic class. Good centers. If they are in Delhi downtown, they get
Not necessarily you need to take a midpoint only. You can also take the same size from each side of.
not for one center. If the student is returning, they can easily place. Not difficult course. One of the best course of the night. Yes.
And the third side, we're not going to cut, we're just going to make flaps.
Yeah. Do ping me on WhatsApp right away. Okay.
So look at this. This is how the new shape should be. So the cutout for the new shape. Like this and like this. When you look at this flap, please notice the notch I've made on the area that I've folded or the area that is to be cut out. So this is the extra flap. The two sides I've removed it, one side I've kept it. Now, when I fold this object onto the base, imagine this is the base. On top of the base, if I fold it this way, then I'll be able to connect this inwards. I'll put it the flap, and I can put this here, connect this as well. And then finally, come to the top of it. Now you see, this is how it should be. And then this flap, which is up here, if I paste it down and I put this inwards, then I can also cover the top of the object. This is just to cover the top of the object, this extra flap that you have. Does it make sense? Is it difficult, this one? Could you do it? Okay. So what I want from you is one cuboid for homework and one truncated tetrahedron, this is called. So truncated cylinders and everything you must have heard in your geometry, right? Same idea. Truncated means cut out. So when you cut it from that area, then it becomes truncated. The same way you can experiment with other templates also. We will learn about how you can use them more effectively in your products and everything. Let me show you some products and then we can stop this session. Okay. So the applications could be, so this is a pyramids template. With this template, you'll be able to make this kind of a shape. So base would be square, and then the top is 4 sides triangles. And that is exactly what you see in your screen. 1 square and 4 triangles. With using all of these different shapes, this template is also very easy when you're so basically in this template, what they've done is, it's the same template that you have for this shape, but this shape has changed. So instead of this shape, I now have an octagon. So in that octagon, I'm going to make each side have that wall. So this is how you start making. And then one would be extra, where you'll be making that particular area for the top or the base that you call. So this also is very easy template. We'll discuss this when you're done with the very basics, which we taught today. Okay. Then you can do things like this. Like this packaging also involves similar ideas. You can do lettering using templates. You learn how to do these templates also. You learn how to make your own templates for anything that you can imagine, be it crystal, be it something like this. So this is directly where the application and situation test would be. They will require you to make products like this. But here you can see that the visible tape marks are there. That is to be avoided completely. You can see that their shapes are not done perfectly. You can see them poking out of the areas. So we will try and do them much more perfectly. Then you can make bigger products like this using the same technique. And now let me show you a couple of things that the kids did using these shapes, and then we can stop, end this session. Okay, just give me a minute. Thank you for being so patient, guys. So this is one model which is done by a student using different cuboids and cubes. She's cut out pieces from those cubes and cuboids, added layers of paper to make it look like a joy adventure ride. So this is inspired from the idea of an adventure ride in an adventure park. So you can see that kind of a vision coming through. Same idea now utilized, so cuboid and cones this particular person has used to make SpongeBob SquarePants. So when you're seeing this particular object, you can see how similar it is to the character that she's using. So cuboid, she thought of SpongeBob. Then look at this one. This one is a template which is basically a repeat of the same thing. Here she's not using different elements, but she's used the template for this particular character, and she's made another copy on the other side, then connected it using there. So this is similar to this kind of a technique, which they're using in this lettering. So this is more. Okay. So these are different things that you can possibly do. You can make these shapes simply also and then use paper to decorate them. So that will look much better than having a simple cube. Same way she's done the same thing to the pyramid. So it looks much more nicer, right? So if you have a particular theme which it can fit into, then you can decorate your material according to that. So these are some of the things that you can possibly do with these shapes that we learned about today. And we'll do more in the next session. Please do the homework. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. Have a nice day, everybody. Thank you.